I asked my girlfriend if she'd been with anyone else while dating me. She said no. A year later, I found out she lied. She called it meaningless, said I was overreacting, and that I should be glad she kept it from me. This might sound stupid to some of you. Petty, even. But I swear I wasn't trying to be controlling or insecure or whatever label people love to throw around. I just had one personal rule, one boundary I made clear from the very beginning. And she agreed to it, smiled at me, nodded, and said it made sense. Her name's Maya, 28, female. I'm Ryan, 29, male. We met a little over a year and a half ago at a friend's birthday party. She was the kind of woman who could light up a room without trying. Confident, witty, just the right mix of sweet and sarcastic. I liked her immediately. We started talking that night and didn't stop. First it was drinks, then dinner, then texting constantly until it made more sense to call. A month later, we were spending every weekend together. 3 months in, I asked if she wanted to be exclusive. She said yes. But before we locked it in, I asked 2 questions. 2 simple, direct questions. I'm not the kind of guy who plays games. If we're going to be together, I want to know we're on the same page. Are you seeing anyone else right now? Have you slept with anyone else while dating me? She looked surprised at first, kind of like she wasn't expecting it. Then she smiled, that soft, slow smile she had when she was teasing but serious underneath, and said no to both. Then she tilted her head and asked why I'd asked the second one. I told her the truth. That for me, intimacy isn't just intimacy. I don't judge other people's values, but I need to feel like I'm the only one if we're headed somewhere real. And if someone's hooking up with someone else while still figuring things out with me, that's a deal breaker, because either we don't see intimacy the same way, or worse, they picked someone else, and I was just the backup plan. She didn't seem offended. She said she appreciated my honesty, and just like that, we were official. Fast forward a year. We'd built what I thought was a strong relationship, met each other's families, took a trip to Montreal, got through a health scare with my mom together. I'm not gonna lie and say it was perfect. Maya could be distant sometimes, and I could be a little over-analytical, but we worked, or so I thought. Then, about a month ago, I found out she had slept with someone else. Early on. Just once, she said. It meant nothing. It happened before she realized things were serious with me. Her words, not mine. I confronted her about it calmly, or at least I tried. My hands were shaking, and my stomach felt like it was gonna fall out of my body, but I let her talk. I figured, at the very least, she deserved a chance to explain. You know what she said? That's why I didn't tell you. I didn't want to ruin a good thing. I didn't think it mattered. She called it meaningless, a random night that meant nothing compared to what we had. She told me not to let something so small blow up something so good. But it wasn't small to me. It was the one thing I asked about, the one thing I made clear mattered to me. And she lied, right to my face. I told her we were done. She cried, said I was being rigid, that I was throwing away a beautiful relationship over technicalities. That I should be happy she lied because it protected what we had. I told her I'm not going to reward a lie with more of myself. And now I'm here. Sitting alone in the apartment we used to share on weekends, wondering if I'm the crazy one. She made me feel like I am, like I'm unreasonable for having any boundaries, like honesty is optional if the truth might hurt someone. So Reddit? AITA? Update 1. If you had asked me a year ago whether Maya was the one, I probably would have said yes. I'd been in a few relationships before, some serious, some casual, but none of them ever felt stable. I always felt like I was either chasing someone or being smothered. Maya was the first person who felt like an actual partner. Someone who challenged me, teased me, comforted me, matched me. I'm not exactly the life of the party, more of a detail guy, a planner. Maya was spontaneous, passionate, the kind of person who made me believe life could be exciting again after I'd nearly given up on dating. We met at a rooftop bar, actually. A mutual friend, Jess, invited us both. Maya had on this red leather jacket and these black boots that somehow made her look both dangerous and elegant. She talked with her hands. She laughed like she meant it. And when I found the courage to ask for her number, she didn't hesitate. Our first date lasted 6 hours. It started with coffee, turned into dinner, and ended in a freezing walk through the park because neither of us wanted to say goodbye. She told me she'd just gotten out of a weird situationship with a guy who never wanted to commit. I told her I'd been cheated on by my ex-fiancé a year prior and was still trying to learn how to trust again. That was the night I told her I wasn't into casual intimacy. Not as some moral judgment, just as a personal thing. I'd done it before, and I always felt emptier afterward. I told her I needed clarity and emotional safety before I got physical with anyone again. She nodded and said, "Respect. Honestly, I wish more guys said that." That was part of what drew me in. Maya listened, or at least I thought she did. For the first few months, we took things slow. I was cautious. She was patient, at least on the surface. There were a few moments that gave me pause. Like one night, around month 2, she got a text from someone named Liam. Her face changed when she saw it. She turned the phone over quickly. I asked, "Everything okay?" And she said, "Yeah, just an old friend." Or the time she disappeared for a weekend, saying she needed a reset after a rough week at work. No phone, no texts, just radio silence until Monday morning. I didn't want to be controlling, so I let it slide. She said she went to a cabin with her cousin. No pictures, no proof. I shrugged it off because by then, I was already hooked. She made me feel wanted in ways I hadn't felt in years. After my ex-fiancée Carla left me for her coworker, something I didn't find out until she moved out, I was wrecked. I started therapy. I swore off dating for a while. But with Maya, it was different. She made me feel safe again. We laughed a lot. We cooked together. We had inside jokes. She'd call me Mr. Spreadsheet when I overplanned things, and I'd call her Hurricane Maya when she left messes everywhere. 3 months in, we were exclusive. That was when I asked the 2 questions. Like I said in part 1, I didn't demand a list. I didn't ask for her dating history. I just wanted to know if she'd been with anyone else while we were seeing each other. To me, emotional honesty wasn't optional. I told her that if she had slept with someone else while dating me, that would have made us incompatible. It wasn't about jealousy. It was about values. She said no to both. Not even a hesitation. I remember feeling relieved. Like finally, I'd found someone who understood me, or at least respected my boundaries. After that conversation, things got even better. We planned a weekend getaway. She met my mom, who adored her. We started talking about moving in together next year. We even talked about maybe going to Portugal, her dream destination. I was saving up to surprise her with tickets. Then the cracks started to show. She started being distracted, not in a big way, just little things. Forgetting plans, zoning out during conversations, getting defensive when I asked if something was wrong. One night, she left her laptop open. I wasn't snooping, seriously, but I walked by and noticed her Facebook Messenger open. A name popped up in the sidebar, Liam. Again, I shouldn't have clicked. I know, but I did. Most of the chat was old, from around the time we first started dating. Flirty stuff, a few jokes about how good that night was. One message from her that said, "Can't stop thinking about the cabin. Might be a mistake, but damn." My stomach dropped. I didn't say anything that night. I barely slept. The next day, I confronted her. "Maya, did you sleep with Liam back when we were first seeing each other?" Her eyes went wide. "Where is this coming from?" I told her I saw the message. She didn't deny it, just went quiet. Then finally said, "Yeah, but it was just once. It meant nothing. We weren't official." I reminded her of our conversation. The one where she looked me in the eye and said she hadn't been with anyone else. The one where I explained exactly why that mattered to me. Her response? "I didn't want to lose you over something meaningless." And suddenly everything, every moment of laughter, every inside joke, every plan we made, felt like it was built on a lie. I wasn't mad that she slept with someone else before we got serious. I was mad that she knew it would matter to me and she lied anyway. I think that's when I realized, even if she loved me, she didn't respect me the way I needed her to. Update 2. I wish I could say I ended things cleanly after that conversation, that I stood up for myself, set the boundary, and walked away with my head held high. But that's not what happened. What happened is I froze. She sat there on my couch, legs tucked under her, in that oversized hoodie she stole from me months ago. Her eyes were wide, watery, but not quite crying, and I was just numb. "It was before you and I even slept together," she said. It didn't mean anything. I didn't even see him again after that. I stared at the wall behind her. There was a picture hanging there. Us in Montreal, bundled up, smiling. Her arm wrapped around my waist, my cheek pressed against her temple. I remember that trip like it was yesterday. We walked until our legs ached. We made up fake stories about strangers we passed. We kissed in the snow. "You lied to me," I said, barely louder than a whisper. She bit her lip and finally said, "Because I knew this would happen." I turned to face her. "This is happening because you chose to lie. Not because of what you did with him, not even because you slept with him, but because you looked me in the eye and told me no." She folded her arms like she was hugging herself. "What was I supposed to do, Ryan? Tell you the truth so you could break up with me over something that didn't matter?" It mattered to me. A long silence. She leaned forward. "Do you really think I love you less because of that one night?" "No," I said, "but I think you respected me less." That was the beginning of the end. But, like most endings, it dragged on longer than it should have. We didn't break up that night. I told her I needed space, and she gave it to me, physically anyway. She stopped coming over. We didn't talk much for a few days. I needed time to think, to figure out whether I was about to blow up the best relationship I'd ever had over one lie. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized it wasn't just one lie. It was one lie sitting on top of all the little things I ignored. The cabin weekend with no proof. The weird tension every time I asked about her past. Her avoidance of serious conversations until I forced them. I started replaying moments in my head like an investigator reviewing a crime scene. Was I just paranoid? Or had I been gaslit for months? On the fourth night, I texted her, "I think we need to talk, for real." She responded, "Can I come by tomorrow? I'd rather do it in person." I said yes. The next day, she showed up at my apartment with a tote bag and a hopeful look in her eyes. I thought she was coming to pick up her things. Turns out, she thought she was coming to save us. "I've been thinking a lot," she said as she sat on the edge of the bed. "About everything." I stayed standing, arms crossed. I didn't want to make this comfortable. She continued, "I know I broke your trust, and I know I should have told you, but I honestly didn't think it would matter once we became real." "It mattered from the beginning," I said. "I didn't know that then." "Not really." "Yes, you did. I told you. You even asked me why I brought it up, and I explained. You said you understood." She stood up. Her voice sharpened. "You said if I told you I slept with someone else before we were official, you'd end things. So what was I supposed to do? Tell you and get dumped? Or lie and risk it coming out later? Either way, I lose." I blinked. "So you're saying the lie was my fault?" She flinched like I slapped her. "That's not what I said." "No, that's exactly what you're saying. That I'm unreasonable for having a boundary, and you had to lie to protect us from me." "I was scared, okay?" She snapped. "I really liked you. I saw something real, and I didn't want to ruin it over one stupid decision." "But you did ruin it. Not because of what you did, because you never gave me the choice to decide whether I was okay with it." She fell silent again. I walked over to the window and stared out into the night. Cars passed. Someone was walking a golden retriever. Life moved on, oblivious to the disaster unraveling inside my apartment. She tried one more time. "Ryan, we're good together. You know we are. I love you. Doesn't that count for something?" I turned around. "It counts for a lot, but not everything." She walked toward me slowly. "Please, don't throw this away." I looked at her, really looked at her eyes, red-rimmed and pleading, at her trembling hands, at the woman I loved and who I now couldn't trust. "You already threw it away," I said. "You just didn't tell me." Her shoulders sagged. She took a shaky breath. "So that's it?" I nodded. "Yeah, that's it." She nodded too, picked up her bag, walked to the door. At the threshold, she turned around. "For what it's worth, I never loved him. I barely even liked him." "I know," I said, "and that's what makes this worse." She left without another word. Later that night, I sat at my kitchen table, phone in hand, staring at a message I'd typed but hadn't sent. Did I do the right thing? I deleted it. Some things don't need answers. Or maybe they just don't have good ones. Update 3. I thought that was the end. I really did. After she left my apartment, I didn't hear from Maya for almost 2 weeks. No texts, no calls, no pop-ups on my feed. She went dark, and I told myself that was good. That space was what I needed to think clearly. But the truth was, I was just waiting for her to come back. Every time my phone buzzed, I checked. Every time I passed the cafe we used to go to, I half expected her to be there. And every time I went home to an empty place, I felt like I'd amputated a part of myself. So when she messaged me, "Hey, can I come by to get the rest of my stuff? Maybe talk?" my stomach dropped. I stared at the screen for 10 minutes before I replied, "Sure." I don't know what I expected. Closure? Apology? A miracle? Maybe just a clean break with no more what-ifs. She showed up on a Sunday afternoon, hair pulled back, no makeup, wearing the gray hoodie I always borrowed when I slept at her place. She looked tired, smaller, somehow. "Hey," she said softly. "Hey." She stepped inside like a stranger, like she didn't know where to stand anymore. "I brought a box," she said. "Didn't want to leave anything behind." I nodded. "You can take your time." She wandered through the apartment, picking up little pieces of herself. A toothbrush, a scarf, a half-used bottle of shampoo in the bathroom. Every item made something tighten in my chest. When she came back to the living room, she set the box down on the coffee table and looked at me. "I was hoping we could talk," she said. "If that's okay." I hesitated, but then I sat down across from her. "Yeah, let's talk." She took a deep breath. "I've been thinking a lot about what you said, about the lie and what it meant to you." I stayed silent. "I still think what I did was stupid, not malicious," she continued. "But I get why it felt like betrayal to you. I really do, and I wish I had just been honest. I just didn't know how to tell you without losing you." "You would have lost me either way," I said. She nodded. "Maybe, but at least it wouldn't have been like this." There was a long pause before she added, "I've never been great with emotional honesty. You know that. I don't always say what I'm feeling. I get scared, I freeze. But with you, I wanted to be better. I really did." I looked at her. "Then why did it feel like you chose him over me?" Her eyes snapped to mine, startled. "I didn't. It wasn't like that." "Then explain it. Help me understand. Because from where I'm sitting, it feels like you were testing both of us out." "And he got there first." "It wasn't a race," she snapped, then immediately softened. "Sorry, it wasn't about comparing. I didn't feel for him what I felt for you. Ever." "Then why him first?" She opened her mouth, closed it again, sighed. "Because I knew him already. Because he was easy, familiar. And I didn't think you were serious about me yet." "That's the thing," I said. "I was serious. I told you I was. I set that boundary to protect myself, not trap you. But you made the decision for both of us." "I know," she said. Her voice was barely audible. "And I'm sorry." I rubbed my hands together. "Do you want me to forgive you? Is that why you're here?" She blinked. "No, I want to be forgiven, but I'm not asking for it. Not like that." "Then what do you want?" She looked down at her hands, twisting a ring around her finger. "I guess I just wanted to see if there's any part of you that still thinks this is worth saving." That broke me. I stood up and started pacing. "Of course I still care about you. Of course I still love you, but that doesn't change what you did." She stood too. "Then why can't we move past it?" "Because I can't build a future on a lie, Maya. No matter how much I want to." She walked closer. "But we have a future. Don't you feel that?" I stepped back. "I did, but I don't trust it anymore." Her shoulders slumped. "So that's it. I came here hoping for hope, and you're already gone." I shook my head. "I'm not gone. I'm just trying to survive." She picked up her box. "I guess I should go then." "Yeah." She paused at the door again. "I'm really sorry, Ryan." "I know." She opened the door, then stopped. "You know, I lied because I thought it would protect us. But maybe the real problem is that I didn't believe we were strong enough to survive the truth. I didn't know what to say to that, so I said nothing. And then she was gone." Update 4. It's been 3 months since she walked out of my life. It doesn't sound like much when you say it out loud. 90 days. A little over a season. But when you're used to waking up next to someone, used to texting them good news or bad news or no news at all, just because, every single day without them feels like its own miniature lifetime. There's this thing people don't tell you about breakups, the ones that actually matter. I mean, they don't end with the dramatic exit or the door slamming. They end in the quiet, in the small decisions, in choosing not to send that message, not to check her Instagram, not to ask mutual friends about her when you're 3 drinks deep and stupid with nostalgia. That's where I am now, somewhere between silence and healing, between pretending I'm fine and almost believing it. I haven't heard from Maya since that last day. No calls, no texts, nothing. She didn't even send a just checking in on my birthday, which came and went like a paper boat in a storm. A little fragile thing, unnoticed, adrift. And honestly, I don't know if that silence makes her cruel or just strong. Because I've written texts I never sent, full paragraphs. Some angry, some apologetic, some pathetic. Do you miss me? Do you hate me? Was it all real? But every time I wrote one, I deleted it before I could press send. Because I knew that none of those questions would bring me peace. And because I knew deep down that if she wanted to say something, anything, she would have. She didn't. And that silence said more than any message ever could. I've tried dating again. Went on 3 dates in the last month. One woman, Alana, was incredibly kind and smart and patient. We had similar tastes in music. She laughed at my jokes. She even made a joke about spreadsheets, and I almost cried right there at the table. She asked me about my last relationship, and I told her the abridged version. That it ended because of a betrayal. I couldn't bring myself to say a lie. That word still cuts too close. And it's not fair to her or anyone new that my heart still feels like a room with her name carved into the walls. So I told Alana I wasn't ready. That I thought I was, but I'm not. She smiled and said she understood. She probably didn't, but she was kind enough not to say it. People in my life have asked what happened. My brother, a couple of friends, Jess especially, the one who introduced us. She seemed perfect for you, Jess said. What went wrong? I never know what to say to that. She lied about something that mattered to me, I say. And I watch their expressions shift from concern to confusion, like I'm holding a puzzle with one piece missing and demanding they solve it anyway. Because the full truth is too messy to explain in a casual conversation. Yes, she lied. Yes, I had every right to leave. But also yes, I still love her. Even now. Even after everything. I still remember the sound of her laugh when she was half asleep. The way she curled up on the couch with her knees tucked to her chest, hoodie sleeves pulled over her hands. The way she'd hum under her breath when she was focused on something. Especially when she didn't know I was listening. Those memories don't just disappear. They live inside you, even after the person's gone. Even after you've told everyone and yourself that you've moved on. The thing that hurts most is realizing she wasn't some malicious villain. She didn't lie to manipulate or exploit me. She lied because she was afraid, because she didn't think I'd stay if she told the truth. And maybe she was right. You would have left me either way, she said. That line haunts me. She said it like it was a checkmate, like the outcome was inevitable and the lie was just a delay of the game. Maybe she was right. But maybe if she'd told me the truth when I asked, if she had trusted me with the hard parts of herself, instead of just the polished ones, maybe I would have stayed. Maybe I would have respected her more. Maybe we would have had a hard conversation and found a way forward. Because love is complicated. People screw up. I'm not some moral purist who expects perfection. I don't think I walked away because she made one bad choice. I walked away because she made that choice for me and then buried it. I can forgive a mistake. I don't know if I can forgive a lie. That's the thing no one talks about when they say relationships are built on trust. It's not just a platitude, it's a currency. And once you go bankrupt, even if the love is still there, the foundation is gone. And you're just standing in the rubble trying to decide if rebuilding is worth the risk. I decided it wasn't. But I've never stopped wondering if I was wrong. I think about how different it might have been if I had just let it go. If I'd said, you lied and I hate it, but I love you more. If I'd told myself that people are flawed and that some truths don't matter in the long run, maybe that would have made me stronger. Or maybe it would have just made me resentful in 6 months and bitter in a year. I'll never know. That's the curse of choice. You don't get to live both outcomes. I think about her sometimes. Not every day, but enough. I wonder if she's seeing someone new. If he knows the full story. If she ever thinks about texting me when she can't sleep, or if she's really truly moved on. I saw her once, 2 weeks ago. Not up close, just across the street. She was walking out of a bookstore holding a cup of coffee and laughing at something someone next to her said. She looked okay, happy even. She didn't see me. I stood there for a second, just watching. Then I turned and walked the other way. Not because I was angry. because I didn't trust myself to see her up close and not say something I'd regret. Some loves aren't meant to be salvaged. Some lessons come wrapped in heartbreak. And some boundaries, once crossed, never feel safe again, no matter how much love is left behind. I don't know if I did the right thing. I don't think I ever will. But I do know this. Love isn't just about choosing someone. It's about trusting that they would choose you, even when it's hard. And when someone takes that choice away from you, they take the love with it.